left my bully of a sister, it made her life crumble.
Oh.
Little bit of background. I'm the second youngest of 8, and my siblings are my half-siblings on my mother's side. I didn't grow up with them and my mother. In my adult years is when I started getting involved with them. That's when I realized how crappy they actually are.
Dude, 8 siblings.
That's a ton of siblings. By the way, this comes from Ginger Fox Girl, and if you want to submit your own story, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I dropped out of college and lived with my eldest sister for a few months before going back to my childhood home, which was being foreclosed on because my brother never paid the mortgage. My grandmother left in the house since she had moved. It was my dad's, but he passed. The house was supposed to go to me since I was his only child, but I was too young at the time, so it went to my grandmother. It was sad to see that I was going to be losing my childhood home because my brother stole money my other siblings had given him for the mortgage and ran off. I wish this was about him, but I never see him anymore. The story. Enter my eldest sister, who is an entitled parent of all things, and her crotch fruit was also an entitled spawn, who moved into the home to save money during the foreclosure. Since it would take a few years, we all decided to stay as long as we could. Now, my eldest sister, who grew up having to take care of her other siblings, not me because I lived with my dad and stepmom, is still stuck in the mindset that I am not a child and have to do whatever she says, especially because she helped me out. I had lived with her for a few months before I moved back home. She's the type to go, I helped you, so now you have to help me. And of course I did because I felt obligated. She had also helped me get a job at her job. I appreciated all of this, but things started to go downhill from here. We're all saving money. She told me I'd have to stay with her since I wouldn't be able to get one on my own. I believe this. I am a new adult and still stuck in little sister pushover mode, and my sister knows this. Anyways, I saved $100 or more from every paycheck because we were going to put down a down payment for a house in a while. The abuse she gave me started getting bad. My sister's really trashy, and whenever I did something outside of my race, she'll claim, why are you acting like another race? What? I'm pro-choice, so she would make fun of me being pro-choice. She hated the fact that I love my dog more than her kids. She had another baby. Lord knows she couldn't afford another one, and she used to talk crap about my dog. She would take my phone and read through my messages. I'd have naughty messages to my boyfriend, and she'd try to spicy shame
fantasies.
me. She'd make fun of my depression and life attempt and make me feel like I was nothing without her, even though she'd constantly ask me for money out of my personal savings and made me believe it was for baby food, but it was actually for marriage. She actually went into my room and stole $80 from me for this. She eventually paid it back, but still. I'd ask her not to smoke in my room because I have asthma, but she'd still come in with a cig or a joint. If I spent money on myself, she'd be like, you know we need to save money. Girl, you're spending $80 like, I don't know, probably weekly. But yet she spent $400 on Christmas gifts her spawn would never use.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but you're old.
You're as old as me now, pal.
I might be as old as you, but I feel like you have oodles more wisdom.
I've got some wisdom in this old noggin.
You got a piece of wisdom for me right now?
Always respect you.
And I think the other piece of wisdom that I've learned from John is join OK Storytime memberships.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Get it now while I'm still alive.
And now back to the story.
When we worked together, she got pissed off and jealous when my coworkers praised me and used to try to talk crap about me to them behind my back. What? Who is this lady? She was my ride, and we were always late for work because her excuse was, I have kids. I need to get them ready for school and daycare. I was happy to see that my bosses never really wrote me up because of her wrongdoings. My manager and supervisor even told me that she was only still hired because I worked there. That made me feel good about myself because I feel worthless a lot of the time. The abuse got so much worse, and one incident happened that I don't want to talk about right now made me think, wait a minute, I'm an adult. I'm not a child anymore. She needs to realize that. There we go.
Okay,
there
finally
we
standing
go.
up for
It's like
herself.
realizing, wait a minute, she can't talk to me that
Yo,
way.
It's a self.
Wait a
Oh, I
minute.
feel
I
like
don't have to put up with that.
I feel like Opie just had self-realization as like when you were a kid. You're like, oh,
You like come into consciousness.
literally, like you're like 3 years old, you're like or 4 years old. You're oh,
Yeah.
I have control.
Oh,
These are my limbs.
I could move them.
I hid my money, started being more strict with her entitled child, and whenever she tried to dish me some abuse, I'd dish it back.
Oh.
I took the rest of my money and put down a down payment for a car. Of course, her reaction was irate. You know we need to move. Yeah, away from you, girl.
Yeah, honestly.
I didn't care. I had already planned on moving cities. Yeah, you need to move countries. 2 days later, her car breaks down and wasn't able to be repaired. If it wasn't for me getting a car, she wouldn't have been able to get to work. During this whole thing, I was still in a bit of a pushover mode and decided to let her use my car for things. No, especially since I wasn't driving as much. I had nowhere to go and was a new driver. Of course, she would bring the car back low on gas and demand I help her pay for gas, though she was the one using the car. She let her spawns make a mess out of my car and never cleaned it out. The kid broke the back of the seat off.
Oh.
What?
Because it kept.
Because it kept punting it.
They're demons.
She even brought roaches into the car.
How?
The last straw was when she started talking crap about me while in my car. How dare you?
Out there.
How
Anywhere
dare
but
you.
the car.
She was supposed to be helping me learn how to drive in exchange for me letting her use my dang car all the time. Wait, girl, you don't know how to drive and you bought a car? She was on the phone with her friend and I was listening to music. I was switching through songs and heard her talking. Sister, yeah, she wants me to help her learn how to drive, but I've got stuff to live for. I've got kids. She has her dog. She thinks that's something to live for. Me, well, I can drive home alone and you can get a ride from baby daddy's name. This pisses her off and I proceed to put on my music, but I can still hear her talking crap because you're in the same car. Enough is enough. We finally get the eviction notice and my sister got upset when I told her I'm moving to another city and not with them.
Thank God.
I was not going to help her rent a house when she has a baby daddy to help her. She's getting angry and annoyed, but I do not care. Don't care. She is downing me and saying I wouldn't make it. I put in my 2 weeks. My manager and supervisor say they'll give me a great recommendation for my other jobs.
Oh, yes.
And I moved to another city.
There
Thank
we go.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Of course, my manager and supervisor was right. She was fired shortly after I left because she had a crappy attitude and I was gone. She had no ride anymore besides using her baby daddy's van that drinks up gas easily. She won't be getting any good reference because she couldn't learn how to be a kind person. I proved her wrong, got an apartment a month after moving to my new city. And by the way, you can prove us wrong by always joining and listening to more episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. Prove us wrong. I don't feel bad at all and feel like I gave her back so much more than I should have. My revenge is knowing that she needed me, but I left her alone with no help. I guess this isn't pro-revenge. Again, this is my first post, and if this isn't the wrong topic, then please let me know and I'll move it. And edit, before I left, my sister did try to guilt trip me. She'd talk about how she had no transportation or how I'd missed my 2 nieces' birthday. I didn't care. Opie hates these kids. Opie freaking hates these kids.
Yeah, dude.
Like, that is not the best. If you're trying to get OP to stay, don't use her kids because she freaking hates them.
She's not gonna stay for your kids who
Your
she
crotch
refers
spawn.
to as spawns.
Yeah. She said she didn't want to lose the only good sister she had left.
What? That's how you. If you don't want to lose the only good sister you have left, that's how
Whoa,
you're treating her.
This is a big turnaround. No problems with police or substances in me. Too bad she didn't really realize that she was pushing me away. And comment 1 says, sometimes the best revenge is just letting an awful person's world fall apart. All because you just decided to not be there anymore. Happy you got out of a crappy situation. And another comment says, so do you know anything about her now? And OP says, she still messages me to ask for money. Of course she does, because she's freaking broke. Which I tell her I don't have, or to tell me what else happens with my toxic family. She was on welfare for about 4 months and now has a crappy job that she hates. And that is the end of the story.